rising to meet it. Driven by the destiny of past karma, this mixture forms a tiny, mustard seed-sized vessel for the jiva, soul, that is ready to be born. In the first month, it begins to coalesce and thicken slightly. In the second month, the embryo takes on a form resembling a mold for a human body. In the third month, flesh accumulates. In the fourth month, it elongates like a small rod, and veins and nerves begin to form. In the fifth month, it acquires a 5-colored hue. In the sixth month, it takes on a shape resembling a tortoise. Limbs, arms, and legs are defined, and 9 bodily orifices are formed. In the seventh month, it rolls about within the womb. In the 8th month, it begins to move actively. In the 9th month, hair follicles develop. In the 10th month, driven by the force of apana vayu, downward-moving vital air, it descends through the vaginal opening to the earth, much like falling headfirst from a mountain. Scriptures state that during pregnancy, if the prana vayu, vital breath, flows to the right side, a male child is conceived. If it flows to the left, a female child. And if it flows on both sides, the child will be intersex, ali or pedi. The body consists of 3 components: feces, urine, and blood. Of these, feces and urine are excreted from the body. However, blood remains in the body and imparts health and strength to it. In this blood, 1/7 of it transforms into reproductive fluid. The remainder permeates the skin, hair, flesh, fat, bones, intestines, nerves, blood vessels, and bone marrow. There are 6 foundational centers, adharas, in this body. 1. Muladhara, 2. Swadhisthana, 3. Manipura, 4. Anahata, 5. Vishuddhi, and 6. Ashna. Beyond these 6 adharas, energy centers, at the crown of the head lies the Sahasrara, known as the Brahma Randra. Extending from the Muladhara to the Ajna, there are 11,000 major nerves and 18,000 minor nerves. In the hands and legs, there are 7,000 major nerves and 12,000 minor nerves. At the navel region, there are 7,000 major nerves and 2,000 minor nerves. And for the 9 orifices, there are 1,500 major nerves and 3,500 minor nerves. In total, there are 3,000 major nerves and 6,000 minor nerves in the big toes. 7,000 minor nerves distributed across the bones and intestines, making a total of 72,000 nerves. The water content is as follows. In the nasal passages, 1 palm. In the bones, 7 palm. In the flesh, 21 palm. Total water content, 29 palm. The bone count is as follows. Bones in the legs and arms, 1,060. Complete bones from the Muladhara to the Agna chakra, 30. Small bones above the neck, 300. Bones on both sides, 20. Total number of bones, 5,010. Pores, 35 million, or 3.5 crore. Breaths, 21,600. Tattvas, elements or principles, 96. Flesh, 360 palm. Pitta, or bile, 1 uzaku. Sleshma, or phleg, 1 azaku. Length of the intestine in the body, 32 muzam, or cubits. Body dimensions. Width or girth is 4 san, or spans. Height is 8 san, or spans. We previously mentioned there are 96 tattvas, did we not? The details of their classification are as follows. First set of tattvas, 30. Second set of tattvas, 30. Third category of principles, 36. Total principles, 96. The first 30 principles are 5 elements, bada, 5 sense organs, pulin, 5 sense objects, pulin, 5 organs of action, karmendriya, 5 objects of action, karma vishaya, 4 internal faculties, karana, and intellect, arivu, making a total of 30. The second 30 principles are 10 nadis, energy channels, 10 vayus, vital airs, 5 sayangal, states, aspects, and 5 koshas, sheaths, making a total of 30. The third 36 principles are 6 adaras, energy centers, 8 mandalas, spheres, 3 malas, impurities, 3 doshas, humors, 3 adani, afflictions or desires, 3 gunas, qualities, 8 ragas, attachments, 2 vinay, deeds or karma, and 5 avastai, states of consciousness, making a total of 36. 1. Prithvi, earth. 2. Apu, water. 3. Teyu, fire. 4. Vayu, air. 5. Akasam, space or ether. Sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, the vital aspect corresponding to the ear, body, eye, tongue, and nose, respectively. Organs of action, karmendriya. 5. 1. Book, speech. 2. Padam, locomotion, feet. 3. Pani, grasping, hands. 4. Payuru, excretion. 5. Upastham, reproduction. Objects of action, Vishayas. 5. 1. Vachana, speech. 2. Gamana, locomotion. 3. Dana, giving, excretion. 4. Visarga, elimination. 5. Ananda, bliss. The vital principle of speech, the vital principle of the legs, the vital principle of the hands, the vital principle of the anal orifice, the vital principle of the genital orifice. Karana, internal faculties. 4. 1. Manas, mind. 2. Buddhi, intellect. 3. Chitta, consciousness, memory. 4. Ahankar, ego. 1. Manas, the act of thinking about something. All these arise in that realm. They are the subjects to be discussed. 2. Svadhisthana. This is located 2 finger widths above the Muladhara. It is square in shape. Within that square lies a circular arrangement of 6 petals, and at its center appear the Lingapita, the base of the linga, and the base of the Vinadanda, spinal column or stem. In the very center stands the letter Na. Lord Brahma and Goddess Saraswati are seated within that letter Na. It represents the earth element and is golden in color. 6 letters are found on the 6 petals of the flower. 3. Manipura. This is situated 8 finger widths above the Svadhisthana. Shaped like a hen's egg, it is surrounded by 6,008 nerve channels, nadis, and serves as the root for all the nadis. The wise refer to it as the Undika Malam, navel lotus. It is positioned directly at the navel, the seat of the water element, and is shaped like a crescent moon. At its center lies a circular flower with 10 petals. The letter Ma stands in the center of that flower. Lord Mahavishnu and Goddess Mahalakshmi are enshrined within that letter Ma. It is crystal white in color, and 10 letters are inscribed on those 10 petals. 4. Anahata. This is located 10 finger widths above the Manipura. It is known as the Hridaya Kamalam, heart lotus. It is triangular in shape and situated at the seat of the fire element. Within that triangle lies a radiant circular flower with 12 petals. The letter C stands in the center of that flower. Lord Rudra and Goddess Parvati are seated within that letter C. It is the color of fire, and 12 letters are found on the 12 petals. 5. Vishuddhi. This is located above the Anahata, at a distance of 10 finger widths, in the region of the throat, the seat of the Vayu, air element. At the center of its hexagonal form lies a 16-petaled lotus. The letter Va stands at the center of this lotus, and within that letter, Lord Maheshwara and Goddess Maheshwari reside. It is dark in color, and the 16 petals bear 16 corresponding letters. 6. Ajna. This is situated above the Vishuddhi at a distance of 12 finger widths, upon the Lalata Pita, the seat at the forehead. Of the Vina stem, it stands in a golden form. In the ethereal space just above the eyebrows, a 3-petaled flower resides, centered around the letter Ya. Within this letter Ya, Lord Sadashiva and Goddess Manonmani are enshrined. It possesses the hue of a cloud. The Kundalini energy lies dormant and asleep within the Muladhara, the first of these 6 energy centers, Adaras. Sages say that if a yogi performs prana bandhana, breath control, across these centers and rouses the slumbering Kundalini energy, it ascends through the Sushumna Nadi, traverses all 6 centers, reaches the Brahmahandra, the crown of the head, and showers the nectar of immortality. Then he becomes immortal. Yoga scriptures state that the Ida Nadi runs along the right side of the body, the Pingala Nadi along the left, and the Sushumna Nadi in the center. When a yogi, having mastered the techniques of inhalation, puraka, and exhalation, rechaka, through the Ida and Pingala Nadis, retains the vital breath, prana, through breath retention, kumbhaka, the Kundalini energy lying dormant at the Muladhara, root center, surges upward with vigor. As it ascends, passing through each energy center, Adara, the mind opens its various gateways one by one, bestowing miraculous powers, siddhis, upon the yogi. When the Kundalini energy transcends the Ajna center and reaches the Brahmarandra, the crown aperture, the yogi becomes distinct from the body and the mind, realizing his true nature as the solitary, pure self, Atman. Pranayama is practiced through the methods of Rechaka, Puraka, and Kumbhaka. Rechaka refers to inhaling breath to a distance of 12 angulas, units of measure, through the right nostril. 2. Puraka refers to exhaling breath to a distance of 8 angulas. 3. Kumbhaka refers to retaining the breath, specifically the remaining 4 angulas, internally. By practicing in this manner, the prana is internalized by 4 angulas with each cycle of pranayama. Through gradual practice, the prana, the vital life force, becomes firmly established within the body. Consequently, one's lifespan extends and the body becomes well-knit and robust. Is that all? As this prana becomes increasingly subdued, the inner vital energy awakens the Kundalini. Furthermore, by practicing breath regulation, the cells of the body acquire a uniform rhythm of vibration. When all the body's movements and energies attain this state of uniformity, the mind becomes focused, and its intentions, sankalpas, gain immense power. Thus, the mind becomes all-powerful, capable of harboring intentions of colossal strength, yet it also becomes subservient to the human will. The ultimate goal of a yogi's practice is precisely to bring this all-powerful mind into such a state of subservience. Whatever we conceive or imagine takes place within this vast expanse of space, Maha Akasha. This Maha Akasha refers to the space that pervades the entire physical universe before us. However, there exists another realm known as Chidakasha, the space of consciousness. This permeates the subtle universe of the mind. When a yogi perceives the thoughts within another's mind or sees things invisible to our physical eyes, he does so within the Chidakasha. He thus gains mastery not only over the physical universe, but also over the subtle universe. When he transcends sensory perception and intellectual knowledge, becoming free from the triad of the knower, the act of knowing, and the object of knowledge, and remaining absorbed in samadhi, he transcends even the subtle universe. Entering the causal universe, he experiences objects and perceives entities within the Vijakasha, the ether of pure knowledge. Furthermore, when he transcends the distinctions of Nirvikalpa and Savakalpa states and becomes established in Sahaj Samadhi, he goes beyond the causal universe. Becoming free from all attributes, he abides in the Jananmakasha, the ether of pure consciousness, and the light of the self. He exists as bliss itself, where he is bliss and bliss is he, dwelling in a state where the concept of otherness ceases to exist. as the Kundalini energy surges upward through the Sushumna. Once the ascent begins, one's vision shifts to the Chidakasha, the ether of consciousness. As the Kundalini energy rises from the Muladhara and passes through each Adhara, energy center, the mind becomes increasingly restrained and eventually pours out everything it had held within. When the Kundalini energy ascends to the Ajna chakra, the yogi perceives phenomena within the Vidyakasha, the ether of knowledge. Upon transcending the Ajna and reaching the Brahmarandra to partake of the nectar, the yogi enters the Jnanakasha, the ether of wisdom, becoming free of all attributes, singular in essence, and the embodiment of bliss. Thus he attains liberation from bondage and realizes moksha, salvation. Therefore, the mind must cast aside the Ida and Pingala nadi, which pull it in various directions, and instead anchor itself to the Sushumna nadi. This Sushumna nadi exists in everyone, yet it lies coiled and dormant at the Muladhara. Consequently, the ordinary activities of a human being bear no connection to it. The Muladhara is the repository where all impressions and sensations from countless past lives lie dormant. Kundalini is essentially the accumulated energy of these sensations, existing in the form of vasanas, subconscious tendencies. When Kundalini is awakened through pranayama, the impurities and negative traits associated with it are gradually dispelled. The restrained prana purifies not only the physical body, but also the energies lying dormant as vasanas. As the prana becomes increasingly stilled, an inner fire intensifies and radiates with brilliance. For if we remain absorbed in deep contemplation for a long time, or focus our minds intensely to investigate a particular subject, we can clearly perceive an increase in heat near the navel. When we restrain the organs of perception and action and turn our gaze inward, the dormant energy within surges forth through the Sushumna and strikes each Adhara. Who can truly describe the magnitude of that energy's power? Furthermore, this Sushumna, which is the foundational seat of all sensation, when the energy reaches and strikes the brain, specifically the Brahma Randra, it radiates as a singular light in all directions. At that moment, self-knowledge shines forth. As the yogi ascends, causing this Kundalini energy to rise from one ahara, or psychic center, to the next, he perceives the entire universe within his own mind. Subsequently, he realizes the cause of this world and becomes one with pure consciousness itself. Therefore, the yogi declares that awakening the Kundalini energy is the path to attaining self-knowledge. He notes that while this energy need not necessarily be awakened through pranayama, as it can also be roused through perfect devotion, philosophical inquiry, or the compassionate grace of great souls, the specific path he practices is pranayama. The yogi states that whenever supernatural phenomena are witnessed, they are manifestations of the Kundalini energy. He further asserts that while practitioners of other paths also achieve success through the power of this Kundalini energy, they remain unaware of the underlying cause. Whether consciously or unconsciously, everyone must awaken this Kundalini energy and raise it through the Sushumna nadi to attain the goal. A devotee whose prayer is answered often fails to realize that the intense, focused energy of his devotion acting upon the mind has stirred a portion of the dormant Kundalini energy within him, and that it is this very awakening which brought about the fulfillment of his prayer. Victory first, we must understand the subtle movements occurring within our bodies. Our minds are currently outward-facing and expansive. Therefore, one must turn inward to become worthy of the ultimate reality. However, some claim that even householders who live with their wives and unfailingly have a child every year can practice yoga. After a woman menstruates and bathes, on the 6th, 8th, or 10th They state that one may unite with the woman on the 14th or 16th day, but at that on such a day, pranayama or breath control must not be practiced for 6 hours before or after the union. Furthermore, the union should take place only when the breath is flowing through the Pingala Nadi, the right nostril. We hold the view that once the retas, seminal fluid, begins to flow downwards, it is difficult to redirect it upwards. Therefore, the practitioner should remain free from thoughts of women. Have you observed wrestlers in training? We see that if they are given to womanizing, they struggle with the very quality essential to wrestling, the ability to hold the breath. When the retas, which exists in a gross form, is expelled, the prana, which exists in a subtle form, also escapes. Consequently, one becomes unable to retain the breath. When the ability to hold the breath is lost, physical strength also diminishes. Thus, only the one who does not let even an iota of retas escape will triumph on this immense path of yoga. Moreover, since Hatha Yoga is a discipline aimed at purifying and mastering all the nadis, energy channels, and nerves within the body, we believe that if the retas is not conserved, the practitioner may suffer from mental derangement or convulsions. The practitioner must always consume a moderate diet. 2/3 of the stomach should be filled with food and water, while 1/3 is left empty. The practitioner should use the thumb of his right hand to close the right nostril. Blocking the other nostril, inhale through the left nostril, hold the breath inside for as long as possible, and then slowly exhale through the left nostril. Similarly, inhale through the left nostril and hold the breath inside for as long as one can. After holding the breath for that duration, one must slowly exhale through the right nostril. A practitioner should perform this routine 4 times daily, morning, noon, evening, and midnight, repeating the cycle 25 times at each session. By practicing in this manner, one can completely purify the body and make it glow like gold within 6 months. How does one know if bodily purification has been achieved? Even one's sweat will exude an exquisite, pervasive fragrance. The body will constantly emanate the scent of roses or jasmine. Furthermore, every part of the body will become captivating to the beholder, and whatever one touches will also take on that same fragrance. While 6 months of uninterrupted practice may suffice to cleanse the body of all impurities, acquiring the quality of radiating such a fragrance requires at least 12 years of practice. The face of one who has mastered this practice will possess immense magnetic charm. After all, it is beauty that captivates everyone in the world, isn't it? Yet beauty manifests differently for each individual. What appears beautiful to one person may not seem so to another. What seems beautiful to a human being may not appear beautiful to a cow. Consequently, the yogi acquires a power that draws all living beings in the world toward him with affection. Much like the saying, "Inner beauty reflects on the face," this power radiates from his countenance. As the mind attains peace and bliss, the face too becomes serene and exudes that joy. Furthermore, the yogi's voice is exceedingly melodious to the ear. When he speaks, everyone around becomes spellbound, much like a serpent captivated by a mantra. Thus, for the yogi who persists in his practice without interruption, once the Kundalini energy awakens, the entire realm of Prakriti, nature, reveals itself to him. It undergoes a transformation. The Vedas unfold before him, page after page. A yogi need not learn from books. His own mind becomes a vast ocean of scriptures, possessing infinite wisdom. It is within the yogi that the Sushumna Nadi opens up. Once this Nadi opens and the Kundalini energy begins to rise through it, we transcend the 5 senses. Our mind rises beyond ordinary consciousness to become pure consciousness. We go beyond the intellect and ordinary awareness. There we abide as the eternal Atman, an entity of pure bliss, singular and indescribable, transcending even imagination. However, if Hatha Yoga is practiced by one who remains free from arrogance and pride, it yields both siddhi, supernatural power, and mukti, liberation. If the practitioner harbors even the slightest trace of ego, he might attain unparalleled powers, yet his mind will remain restless. Consequently, he cannot attain liberation. Though one learns to quell anger and attains all siddhis, what is the use if one does not learn to still the mind, O Supreme One? So said Sri Thayumanavar Swamigal. Therefore, yoga should be practiced for the dissolution of the mind, not, like a street magician, to deceive simple beings by performing further illusions in a world that is already a grand illusion itself. Indeed, the consensus among the wise is that Hatha Yoga rarely generates true self-knowledge. Raja Yoga is the supreme form of yoga. Raja Yoga can be practiced anywhere and at any time. Hatha Yoga, however, is not like that. Hatha Yoga must be practiced in a secluded spot, a solitary place undisturbed by any noise. The location must be extremely clean. The room should not have too many windows, nor should it be a hut thatched with palm leaves. Furthermore, the room should not be excessively cold or excessively hot, should not be present. Before commencing practice, the practitioner must arrange a suitable space as described above. The room should be elevated 3 or 4 feet above ground level. It should not be excessively long or wide. Dimensions of 12 feet in length and 10 feet in width would be convenient. The surrounding walls should be at least 8 feet high. It is preferable to have no windows in the walls, but to install ventilators in the roof instead. The room must be free from any foul odors and devoid of insects or vermin. It is beneficial to have flowering plants growing around the room. The practitioner should rise early, before sunrise, attend to bodily functions, and clean their teeth until they gleam like pearls. A mixture of dry ginger powder and half the quantity of salt should be prepared, applied to a thick thread, and allowed to dry. A piece of this thread should then be cut off and used to clean the teeth, mouth, and tongue. Afterward, having bathed thoroughly, the practitioner should sit in a preferred asana posture to engage in deep contemplation and practice pranayama. 1. One should not consume excessive amounts of heavy, nourishing foods like wheat. 2. One should not engage in strenuous physical labor. 3. One should not indulge in unnecessary conversation. 4. One should not walk long distances on foot. 5. One should not reside in densely populated households. 6. One should not bathe in very cold water in the morning. For a Hatha yogi, among all the asanas, the 3 best are Siddhasana, Padmasana, and Simhasana. Through the practice of these 3 asanas, all 72,000 nadis, energy channels, are cleansed. A Hatha yogi must strictly observe dietary regulations. He should avoid bitter foods and substances that generate heat in the body.